Alright, this is Invaders number 2 from 2004, and I am here today to say that this is another one of my favourite Undersung series. There is some creative drama surrounding this book. The original creative team, they had an awful idea and they were fired before it came out, and instead we got a really great series by other people. I'll get more into that stuff. I'll look at issue 1 eventually and probably do it then. But right now I am taking a look at issue 2, which sets up a lot of stuff for the series, and it has a cover featuring a bunch of characters in costumes that they didn't wear inside. The Invaders, they are a neat prospect. They are a wartime superhero team for Marvel, like the Justice Society of Superheroes. But nearly everyone feels the need to just go back to the war and tell retcon stories or reunite the original team in the modern day. Whereas this book takes it in a fresh direction with some of the core characters and some excellent new additions or revamps of others. This is written by some bloke who worked on King of the Hill. That boy is not right. And then sadly, he never wrote another comic. The art is... we'll talk about the art later on, but I like it, and I think people who hate it are wrong. 2 of the main characters in this book are Seaman and the original Human Fire, 2 of the founding members of the Invaders. They are now on this new version of the team, but they are both suspicious of the intentions of the team and the man who brought them together. Other teammates here, we have Captain America, but this is not Stephen Rogers. It is John Walters, u.s.agent. He has been convinced to again become Captain America, and it's really nicely handled in this book. We have a great little bit here with him and Jack's staff. I really like this book, and the good news is you can usually get the trade on discount everywhere. It's like one of them hard paperbacks that there just seems to be loads of sitting in comic shops for years, and they've just been around for ages, so they're usually quite cheap. I recommend it. This is a very, very underrated series. I think all the characters are treated well, and we have a great set of them, but we've not really had a solid establishing shot of them all together at once. But our team is... I'll just go back and do the whole team now. We have the original Human Fire. He's meant to be the leader of this squad, but we will come on to that topic in a bit. We also have Seaman, King of SeaWorld, former Avenger, former Defender, etc. All around arsehole. Then we have a more lovable arsehole like John Walters. And with him being Captain America, one ongoing character plot is that some of the other members of the team, they refuse to call him Captain America. He is also, he's meant to be like the leader of the team. We have Jack Staff, and we have Fire Spit, who is his girlfriend. And finally, the Atomic Skull. He isn't powered up here, but he usually has like a fire skull thing going on, a bit like Ghost Driver. I think that is them all now, except for the runaway star of the book and the breakout character for me, the man who has brought this group together again, Plastic Man. He is a Golden Age Marvel character. He was a minor member of the Invaders back in the day. But in this book, he is fascinating. He is duplicitous and manipulative. And you would be fool to say that they have completely reinvented him from the ground up in this series, because here is the amazing thing. Right, I thought that was the case. I thought this random bloke who writes King of the Hill, he came along and he just took this odd Marvel character that nobody really remembers, and he retooled and retconned everything about him. But that is not what happens at all. This is actually all building on his odd stories. There was even a one in Marvel Comics Presents, an arbitrary story starring the Plastic Man character. It was like a filler story by some assistant editor nobody has heard of, which actually sums up most of the contents of Marvel Comics Presents. And that story, that random story, it becomes like a huge part of Plastic Man's characterization and his motivation in this. It really astonished us when I found out that everything done with Plastic Man in this, it is all cleverly building on stories that most other writers would have discarded or ignored. So, Plastic Man, he is the group's benefactor, and he is the actual leader, but he is being secretive and devious, and they think that the real leader is either Human Fire or u.s.agent. They are both spoken of as being the team's leaders, but it's really Plastic Man who is tricking them into following his agendas. Anyway, they also have got this big ship thing that can gan invisible. And the captain of the vessel is another forgotten about Golden Age superhero, a retired one called the Finn, the Mighty Finn. I think anyway, he was very briefly a member of the Invaders. Him and his wife, who is a seaman from SeaWorld, they are in charge of the boat, which is this team's transportation and also their base. The boat, it can also do a teleport. That's pretty cool, isn't it? The art, I suppose I should talk about that now. It is a style some people really hate. The sort of stuff that looks like it is screenshots from a cartoon or a flash animation. I love it. I think it is something special. I like that it is bright and colourful. I like the colouring too. They have gone for the right sort of palette to fit this art. I like it. It is nice digital art. And the artist, sadly, never got much work either. But one thing is, obviously, Plastic Man, he is lying to all these heroes. He is leading most of them on, or he has flat out told them untrue things, all to the end of getting them to go along with his team proposal and his plans and whatnot. Here he is lying about all the backing and support he has, all the alliances he has supposedly struck up with governments and agencies and hidden kingdoms and stuff like that. He is lying about having this big, enormous network and having all these other heroes working for him to try and add credibility and lure these heroes into working with him. Some of these claimed allies are like their friends or former teammates. And Plastic Man, he's really conning all these heroes into going along with what is his attempts to get revenge on the two people who he thinks have wronged him. You learn more about Plastic Man later in the series, so I won't spoil too much, but one of his personal vendettas is against the real Captain America, because in that Marvel Comics Presents story, Captain America stopped him from getting his revenge on a retired Nazi man. And really, this all spins out of that Marvel Comics Presents story. It is, well, I said, it is astonishing. Another supporting character is this girl. She is an android like the original Human Fire. And you won't find out much about her. Atomic Skull, he is basically crazy. He's a bit like Dead Pills. What happened was he was held captive as a prisoner of war for decades. Since he doesn't age, he was just like in a hole in the ground for ages. And he cracked. So now this tortured, mentally ill man is comic relief. John Walters, he is written great in this series. Even though he is cosplaying as Captain America again, in this book he is not reduced to or regressed back into the whole, I am the real Captain America. I am the best Captain America. I am the Captain America that the world needs. He actually has this whole arc around it, and part of it is Plastic Man manipulating him as well. But the story with him is well done, which is all the more impressive since this spins out of that awful John Jeffries and Bucky Larson Avengers story where John Walters was reduced to and regressed back into that whole I should be Captain America crap. Then the team, they get attacked on their boat by evil terrorist insect drones. And if that wasn't bad enough, we also have a team of evil villains show up aboard the ship, including a total G.I. Joe rip-off. The issue is to be continued, and it is to be continued in the next issue. I didn't think that I have done this comic justice. I feel I am failing to sell it as well as I should. I really like this book. I think it is a lovely little 9-issue series that a lot of people missed out on or they avoided because of the original direction and the lead-in story. Can someone say fascist? They did a total U-turn with that. They got a different writer and artist, and we just had great stuff with these really solid characters who didn't get much chance to take the lead in a book. Give it a chance. Avoid that Avengers story by John Jeffries and Bucky Larson. Start with issue 1 of this Invaders series, and it is good fun and the best revival of the team in my opinion. I am giving this a 7 thumbs up.